thank you, Ivan, for joining us again and giving us the opportunity to do these deep
good
dives.
to be here. Thank
These
you.
deep dives are so valuable because everybody likes to see the apps and see the quick demonstrations during the regular appy hours, but these deep dives allow us to go really deep into the product and show people how to actually use it and work with the data, which is, we love
Great.
that. We love that.
Cool.
And it also gives some, in this particular scenario, some different ways to use it and with clients and inside of our own firms, because we talked about that a little bit last time, all the versatility.
We did,
Cool.
definitely. So for those of you that might be joining us for the first time, I am Heather Satterley. I am the owner and founder of Satterley Training Consulting and Satterley Accounting Services, and I am joining you from lovely Rhode Island.
Oh, man, I wish I could say I was joining you from Rhode Island, but I can't.
Me too. Me too.
I can't. One of these days, in the fall, that's my plan, is to come and visit you in Rhode Island and then also go back to Boston. Boston was amazing.
Boston is awesome. I actually, Dan DeLong, for those of you that are joining that also watch the QB Power Hour with Dan DeLong and Michelle Long, Dan is going to be heading east on, he and his wife bought a fifth wheel, and they are going to spend the next, I don't even know how long. They sold their house, they sold everything, and downsized, put stuff in storage, and they're going to take this fifth wheel all over the country, and just, that's how they want to spend the next, I don't know.
That's how they want to roll.
That's how they want to roll. So he's coming out. I just talked to him. I'm going to be on the Power Hour next Tuesday talking about Zapier. So if anybody's interested in hearing about Zapier, I will be joining Michelle.
That's
and for that.
great.
But
I was with Michelle Long today. So
you were with Michelle?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was doing Q&A for a session today, and she and I got to
love
chat.
Michelle.
I do, yeah.
So I can't wait till we're all together again. But anyway, so he's going to be heading out to the East Coast, so I'm going to get to see him. I'm very excited.
I agree. Well, so you introduced yourself. I'll give just a quick summary of myself. I think most of you are my friends. And so most of you already know me, but my name is Liz Scott, and I've got a firm inside of Oklahoma, not Rhode Island, and we focus on what most of you focus on, small businesses that use QuickBooks, and so the related ecosystem around it. So we want to know how to make it more efficient. We want to know how to make it dance better. We want to be able to say, if there's a client need, that we know how to address it inside of our own ecosystem. So that's just a brief overview of who we are, and most of you know that. That's why you're here, is you want some tricks and tips about how to use that ecosystem.
Fantastic.
Great.
So I was just looking at Facebook, making sure things were working over there. So thank you to our champagne level sponsors at ADP for sponsoring Appy Hour. We love them. We're going to be doing a bunch. We're doing a 3-part series of with ADP deep dives. It's just starting in a couple weeks, so that's going to be exciting as well. Actually, it starts next week, next Wednesday. And correct. Thank you, Ivan, for coming on and coming on to Appy Hour and spending some time with us.
Well, thank you too. Good to be here.
Yay.
I can't wait to see what you've got to show us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to demo. So
it's a small world. It's a small world. About maybe 5 or 6 years ago, Michelle Long on QB Power Hour did a session on AR Connect, but we've come a long way since then. So
that's so true. I think I even caught it. I
wow.
don't know if that was 5 years ago. I mean, maybe it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think that you caught a lot of attention at that time because you were serving a need that really needed to be addressed. And so we were all very grateful of that. And you're correct, man, you've made some improvements and changes. And I mean, I would like to believe that it's because you're listening to the feedback from our peers that are saying, hey, this is how we're using it, because that's the type of changes that we see made.
Totally. We're all, that support is always about listening to what the users need and what their use case is. And it's amazing how everyone is actually so different. So we try and get the common threads, and then we build a solution for that so that everyone can benefit. So there's a lot of depth in the app now.
You know, I would add on to that and say, gosh, that's very, very true, because the thing that I was noticing about the solution from then to now is how much customization that you can do, which is what we're actually going to go through today, is how you can customize it. And there's so many variables. So it helps to be able to have a tool that fits our different clients' needs, because they're not all the same.
Right.
Exactly. Yep.
True.
Cool.
All right, so we
Okay.
are going to jump right into our deep dive. The last week we talked about how we could increase cash flow by managing the AR risk, and how we can help our clients to improve their cash flow by giving them tips and helping them to find solutions like AR Collect that can help them to get paid faster and write off fewer invoices by staying on top of it, right? I think a lot of times what we see is that clients are so busy, or they don't know how, right, to stay on top of their receivables. And so by us giving them, you know, reiterating the importance of it and giving them a solution, we can be really valuable to them. Awesome slide, Liz.
Thanks. You know, I mean, this was the one that I feel like spoke to what we're trying to do with our clients. Is we're trying to help them with something that's measurable. We're trying to help them with being able to collect more, and then also being able to say, there is something here that you can track. Right. And there's something here that we can help you with. And so the more that we see the numbers, and these AR invoices, these are part of our numbers, the better we can do our job.
100%. And, you know, we were talking about the two types of users that use, you know, that kind of use AR Collect. And I think we actually had talked about three, but we kind of narrowed it down to two for this. And one was the, you know, the client who's going to be using AR Collect. And then the other is the accounting firm that's going to use AR Collect as a firm tool to manage their clients' receivables as a service. So those are what we're going to focus on. And we're going to try during the demo to go through and kind of point out the different features that would pertain to each of these. So we're going to go through the use cases, we're going to go through the sign up process and the setup, and then we're going to go through how to use it and do some user tips. So our personas that we're going to talk about was a client user and really basic needs. And then we're also going to talk about the accounting firm user, which is management needs. And I think that, you know, you are definitely going to have some clients with more, you know, that are going to be using the management needs, you know, features that we're going to be talking about. But really, AR Collect, when we were focusing on the client user, let me just advance to that slide. Do you want to talk us through this, Liz? And kind of talk about, yeah.
So what I, you know, I'm thinking here is that because there's so much versatility here, we need to think about who it is that we're going to be serving. So in this case, we've got maybe a client that we want to instruct them how to use the tool. We want to help them to set it up. And so maybe we need to understand their needs first. And so in a plumbing instance, we've got this plumber who's actually a commercial plumber. And with a lot of our residential plumbers, they can collect money at the time, but those commercial plumbers cannot. And so they're in this scenario, they're struggling to be able to collect all of their invoices. Maybe they're creating them, but there's not a date that they can send them easily. And so they could schedule that to be sent on a particular date, so that, you know, we know that we can create those invoices, but we can also create some automations as to when they're sent over. We can create some automations as to sending over a statement to them. And then that way we can also say they've received all of these invoices at one time. Maybe that's the preferred method. And then we can also say, here's the terms. And then also any type of reminders that we want to send over can also be automated. So this is what we might call our set it and forget it client. They want to set up all these wonderful features that are really robust, and they're going to help them to do their job, but now they're not going to have to go back over and over and manage it. So this would be our actual client scenario that we might teach them how to do that.
Definitely. And I mean, one of the things that I really love about AR Collect is that portal, like the ability, we're not able through QuickBooks to send a list of all that. We can send a statement, but a client can't pay from a statement. And so that's something that, you know, AR Collect has absolutely solved for, is the fact that we can send that statement out of AR Collect. They can click and they can pay one invoice, they can pay 3 invoices, or I can pay them all at once. So that is really a really wonderful feature that a lot of our clients are looking for. I actually get asked that. I get asked for that particular feature a lot.
Well, and you know, as a firm who we do a variety of different things. In some cases, we just want to be able to have a tool in our tool belt to be able to say, here we have a client's need, and we teach them that. And every once in a while, we might give them feedback, but this is one of those solutions that you might say, this is in my toolbox whenever I have a client like this who says, hey, I need some help.
Yep, absolutely.
And then this next scenario that's here, this would be more like us. So what if we wanted to offer this as a service? So not only do we want to have this tool in our tool belt to be able to help our clients set up, and then they can manage it, but what if we wanted to actually start offering AR as a service? Or those of you out there who are already offering AR as a service, this is an easier way for you to do some management of those particular clients. So there's a nice dashboard that we're going to look at today. There's also some features that you can say, here's how I want to set up my clients whenever I'm managing them. And so you can do different things to be able to say, like never before, you can offer AR as a service and have it be easier. And that's the reason why a lot of us as a firm have not offered AR as a service, is you have to really be involved with that client. You have to really know all of the details. Well, in a solution like this, you can actually start building out some different types of scenarios, and you can have some parameters, and that way you can monitor it and you can set it up, and you can create some really nice management reports that will show towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. We offer this type of service for our clients in our firm. We have one client that we're helping with the, you know, with some of the collections. And then I actually just met with a client today where we're probably going to be taking over their entire accounts receivable process. So I'm sure that we'll be definitely looking at implementing AR Collect for that. All right, so when you're connecting, you can connect to AR Collect one of two ways. So one way you can connect is right from the Apps tab. So you can go through the Apps tab, click on AR Collect, navigate, and then just follow the prompts to make the connection to set up a new account. So that would be Joe Plumber, right? Where Joe Plumber is, you've made the referral, and you know, you're just recommending the app, and they're going to sign up for it and they're going to manage it, and maybe you'll help them with the customization and doing the settings and making sure everything looks good, but really they're connecting it to their account. So that's one way that you can, one path, I should say, to setting up an AR Collect account, right, is right through apps. And then for us as the account user, or even with a user that has multiple companies, you can also make that connection right from within your account in AR Collect. So let's jump in. I think this is a perfect place to go in and, you know, jump into our demo here, is to connect to a new account. You're going to go to, and you may have to help me, Ivan, because I may get lost, is I go to my account.
No.
Oh, right up here, isn't it?
Click on the plus sign on the top right.
Oh, right. Plus sign.
Yeah, now you got it.
And then connections. Thank you.
Cool.
So click on the plus sign and then connections. And then these are all of the companies that are connected to our AR Collect account. So to add another company, I'm just going to click add another company. You can add QuickBooks Online and include that connection to the QuickBooks payments. And we talked about that last week, Ivan, where you don't have to go sign up for Stripe. You don't have to go sign up for PayPal.
Sure. It's totally back to back.
Yep. You can also connect to QuickBooks Desktop or Sage 1 Accounting. So those are the three. And are you going to be adding more?
Zero is coming. Yeah. With our new app. Yeah. Okay.
Do you have a timeline on that, Ivan, for Zero?
Zero should be within the next 60 days, 2 months.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect our test company, which is Chloe's Cookies. And since I'm already logged into QuickBooks, it's just going to bring this authentication screen right up. I'm going to go ahead and select the firm. Then I'm going to select the account, click next. and then I have to agree to the connection, click connect,
Yeah.
and it should go ahead and add it. There it goes.
Nice. And you did exactly like one of our participants just asked. They said if there are multiple ways to connect,
Right.
and you just demoed that exact same thing. So yes.
Exactly. And the other way, you know, if you haven't used it before, Ivan, this is a really great question. I'm sure people are asking, does it make sense for them to go and sign up for an AR Collect account on the website first and then connect their companies? Or can they do it right through?
Right from QuickBooks. Just go back to your go to QuickBooks apps, search for AR. Yep, right there, search for AR.
Oh, it's a first one. Woo!
Yeah, we're on top. We're the premier. And yeah, okay. Well, now you've got it already, so it's click.
And then it would go over here and
but it normally it actually, because you've got it, it's saying learn more. But it says get app now, so that would actually take you into your authentication. But because you've signed up, it's saying learn more.
It may say that. Yeah, that's probably why it says it. Probably, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Normally it's get app now, and you just sign in.
And it's free for 30 days, which is awesome because you can get in there, and 30 days is really enough time to vet an app for sure and make sure that, you know, it's the right one. So I love that. All right, so now we're in my AR Collect account. And Liz, by the way, you owe me some money, girl. Just kidding. So it pulled in.
I had to go off mute.
I owe me some money too, so you're not alone. You're not alone. So anyway, just teasing. So it pulled all the data in right from QuickBooks. So I didn't have to do any kind of import. As soon as I connected it, it pulled it right into the dashboard.
Wait, I think I see how much I owe you now. So wait, does it say that I owe you $25,000?
That's just your current amount. You're $10,000, 121 days past.
35,000. Okay, this is fun. Where are you gonna go with that?
Maybe it's fun for you. You owe me $35,000.
So. Better get a promise to pay right now.
Right?
I know.
And save it.
You can.
Okay.
So right from here, this is the dashboard. We'll get back to the dashboard in a little bit, but where we would want to start from here is we probably want to go into the email setup first once we've actually set up, and go into the email configuration settings. So let's take a look at that first. You have your default settings, which are your send from address, the from name, the copy, the CC email, and any BCC email. Okay, and then you can also send a test email if we wanted to see what this was going to look like. I could send a test email. We can also click on the advanced settings. And can you talk a little bit about these advanced settings, Ivan, for us?
So what this enables you to do is actually use your own email server to send the email. So at the moment, you're using our default. The default is the AR Collect server, but clients might want to send it from their server so that when you send an email, it's in your sent box. So if you send it from AR Collect, you'll have to CC yourself or BCC yourself. But with this option, you're using your own server. So it just takes authentication to do that on the back end. But if you go back to the default settings, what it really is doing, we are still sending it from your own email address. So it still comes from you, and when the client clicks reply, it goes directly back to you. It's just that when it's sending, it's not sending from your own server on the default. It's we pay for that service.
Gotcha.
And, yeah.
So if somebody got the email from us, if somebody gets the email from AR Collect and they hit reply, does it go back to what email does it go back to?
It never goes back to AR Collect. We don't see it.
Okay.
It goes back to you. And so when they receive the email, it's got your name and your email address on it, and they click reply and it goes back to you. and that's it, closed loop.
So this
So
send
that's
from,
sent from, that's a default, but if you wanted to change it, you could.
okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So if you put in your own address right there, it will come back to you. It just
Gotcha.
depends. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then if I wanted to send a test email.
That's just testing that that the email actually works, but it's not going to send you a test reminder. For that, we'll go to the
I
dashboard.
actually
Yeah.
looked at that. There were the settings to send a test.
Right.
I think you showed me how to do that last time we were on a call together.
Correct.
So we'll go through
Correct.
that when we get to the dashboard.
Yeah, that one, that's more useful.
Gotcha. And then the advanced settings for Gmail, you could go and find the STMP. I actually
exactly.
Did I say it wrong? SMTP? Did I say STMP?
Mm-hmm. Perfect. The one thing about it, once you've completed this, you need to also authenticate the app in the Gmail settings because it's a third-party app. So there's two aspects to it. One is completing this screen, and then one is going into your Gmail settings and authorizing third-party apps.
And here's the instructions on how to do that.
Yeah, yeah, and they keep changing it.
Got it.
The other
port
thing I
587 is relevant. Yeah.
In many of the screens right there, stay there for a second, Heather.
Sure.
In a lot of the screens, whenever you're going through how do I do this or additional information, over on that right side, there's always going to be some notes if it's an area that maybe you need further explanation. So that's true not just here, but actually throughout the entire product. There's these additional information note cards that are there.
Great.
Fantastic. The address book is pulled in directly from QuickBooks.
Yeah,
so I
these
haven't
are
done
additional.
anything. We just
No, but
ahead.
remember, these are the additional addresses that you enter in AR Collect. This is the AR Collect address book. So if you go to the easiest way to actually see it is go back to your AR summary page.
Okay.
Yeah. And click on the customer name. Right. And now you can see what it's pulling through. The blue fields pulls directly through from QuickBooks, and then you can customize it in the white fields below. So if you don't want to use the email address, the default email, which often isn't the accounts person, it might not be who you want to actually be emailing, then you can enter and save multiple email addresses. So today we had a call from someone in the hotel industry. They want you to put 20 email addresses on each line, BCC, CC2, and they can't do that in QuickBooks. So for this, just for this reason alone, they need an AR Collect.
So if I wanted to add multiple to emails, I would be able to do
in the white field below. So you would deselect the default one.
Okay. And
then
I do
check
this one.
to, yeah, and then you can put in any number of email addresses there, and it saves it to the address book directly.
And then let me make sure I have this correct. But then also those white fields are not the fields that are going to be updated in QuickBooks. That is just here in AR Collect. That's how we know the difference.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so good point. We don't actually write data back to QuickBooks at all. The only thing that gets written back is when there's a payment, and that is actually taken care of by QuickBooks payments themselves. So AR Collect, you're pretty safe. We never touch the accounting data ever. We don't actually write anything. We read only, and that's it. So you're safe. Yeah, that's sticky email business. So we've got 7 templates that are customizable, but sometimes you want a client, you don't want to escalate reminders on different templates. Even if they get 7 emails, you want them to receive the same one.
Gotcha.
So then you would use this option. That's what it's for.
So it always keeps it friendly.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't want to tick off the wrong customer.
While we're here, can you talk about the contact notes?
Yeah. So the contact notes are really fundamental. Just add in a note, and what you see is what you get. Call to say hello. Type it in there, and you'll see what it does. A lot of our users don't even send an email out. They just want to have the notes available on the AR summary page. Yeah, just click save now. Okay, and there it is. And if you click on it, it takes you back, and you'll see that it builds the history. So there it is in the table.
Got it.
And we've got users that have got years of notes, and they become very valuable, because now you start to see customer behavior, if they're messing you around, that whole story. So
Ivan, can you export this at all if you wanted to export this list?
Yes, in the reports. These appear in the reports, and you can export the report to PDF or Excel format.
Fantastic.
Great.
Question. All right. The upload logo, I actually had been playing with that earlier today. So we could go in and we could actually add our, whoops, that's the wrong one. We could add our logo here and then upload it. And it was very easy.
Yep.
We won't
so if you go to your AR summary page, you'll see the logos in the invoice already. So if you click on, AR summary, drill down on any balance, click on any balance, you'll get to the invoices, click on the invoice.
The logo got imported from QuickBooks.
Yeah, so we got that. This logo that you update in our app is for your email, like a banner on the email, gotcha. HTML. Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool.
So are we going back over to settings, Heather?
Yeah, I was just going down the email setup, and then I was going to head over to settings.
Okay.
A moment. If I can do settings.
No. I'm just excited.
Okay. The email templates is where we create the different templates for each. We can create up to 7, you said, and so
that's right.
We can call them whatever we want, right?
Sure.
And this is what I like, because when we were doing our cocktail episode last week, one of the things that we were seeing that Ivan had created was these different templates that had different tones. And so this is perfect for creating tone with your customer to say, hey, one of his that was in there, I want to totally copy, because it was, did you forget about us? It's kind of a nice way of saying. You
can find them right there. In fact, Heather, if you click on Chloe's cookies at the top on the drop down, switch companies.
Oh, yes.
You can show the users how easy it is to manage multiple companies. Yeah, so that was under Sky Food.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is how quick it is to go between companies.
Oh, and then click on that. I think it's the 4th template, Heather.
You've got to refresh. Sure. Yeah, there it's final nudge. We're calling that the nudge.
And then
so the template name is.
And it's kind of nice because you can say, I want to be able to take different kinds of tones with different customers throughout the AR process. So depending on how old or aging it is, we'll be able to say, here's our tone for this customer.
Awesome. Well, Belinda she's all over it. She's like, I already have a client. This is a good solution for her. So fantastic.
Okay, great.
So, all right. So going back to that, those are our email templates, and you get up to 7 of those, and you can name them. Then we have our automated payment reminders. So let's talk about these for a moment, Ivan. Okay. What do these do?
We've got 2 ways of set and forget for sending emails out with reminders. One is based on number of days past due, and the other one is based on a date or a weekly interval. So what we're looking at here, when you have 1 day past due, it takes into account the terms that you've given your customer. So every invoice is according to the terms. That's automatically done. And where it says follow up interval 2, so every 2 days they're going to get a new email reminder based on the escalation. So if you click on that escalation button, then we can show everybody. Right, so that's where your templates come in. So you keep escalating up to five levels. Then after 5, it will carry on sending number 5, level 5.
So one of the things that you talked about last week that I thought was brilliant, every once in a while, most of what I do is reoccurring work, but every once in a while I do a project. And so you had said that there's an ability to create a reminder in a sense, but actually it's a pre-reminder that to pay this invoice.
Yes.
So in my scenario, it's like I'm going to do a project work, but before the date of the project starts, I can send over this, hey, reminder to pay. And it's just a notice that this is getting ready to happen. And it's also, I think it's going to be part of the thing that we send along with our agenda for the meeting. It's just going to be this emailed reminder to also say, and pay your invoice before we start.
Great. So, and to accomplish that, I'm glad you brought that up. So if you go back, if you cancel out of this little pop-up, then you simply, under days past due, you put in a minus value. So minus 5 days is 5 days prior to the due date. They get a friendly reminder. And then 5 days later, if you wanted to, you would send them template number 2, which
Got
whatever.
it. So if I wanted it to be the day after it was due, then I would do it 6 days, which would be the 5.
Well,
is that right?
No. So that's good. Yes, that's correct. That's
Okay.
exactly correct.
Gotcha.
Yes, your logic is right. And then we've got a neat little thing there. We've got customers that are very sensitive and they don't want to flood their customers with too many emails. So you can stop sending after a given number of
Right.
emails. And that counts the number of times an invoice triggers the email. So a new invoice will still go out, but an invoice that's been emailed 3 times will stop reminding, will stop triggering the email.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And in fact, what we'll do then is you've got an option to send yourself the reminder. So after 3 emails, you'll get a reminder and say, hey, this customer has been emailed 3 times. Do you want to follow up?
Which the part to point out that's important about that is one option is to make all of these settings and set it up and then do that thing that we talked about earlier, which was the set it and forget it, which means you don't have to come back into AR Collect because you've already set up your parameters. But then the other option is to be able to come back here and manage. So it kind of speaks to both types of people and users.
Good point, Liz. Yeah, that's exactly what we have.
I noticed this, and I think this is really important too, is it's sending at 8 a.m. your time, and that cannot be changed. That's just everybody's emails go at 8 a.m.
Yeah, it's 7 a.m. CST, so we're converting that to 8 a.m. your time.
Ah.
Yeah.
I see how you did that.
But interesting that you picked that up because we have actually updated the code. So in a few weeks' time, you'll be able to set the time that you want the email to go out. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So I'm going to ask a question live because this is a really good question. So one of our participants, Trisha, she said, would you suggest that the client subscribe, or would you suggest that the accountant subscribe so that way we can manage our clients?
Okay, so if the accountant subscribes and you've got multiple companies, it's cheaper, just first off. So because the second company is pretty much 50% the cost of the first company if you've got multiple companies. So there's a cost advantage of that. But you also can invite your client, and under the settings, if you just click on settings, please. Yeah, under company assignment, that's where we would go. One below.
But you know what? You're here. So I'm going to go ahead and say to this screen, because it was one more down, Heather, but that's okay.
Yeah,
we'll go there next, because the thing that you're in right here is the user assignments. So here would we be able to say that we've already went through our firm and we're saying that as a firm, we're going to be managing our clients, or maybe internally they have multiple users. So you could set up your different users, and then you could come through and you can say, what do they have assignments to? So if there's multiple companies here, you can assign who they could be working on. But Heather, will you go back to settings, and it's the choice right below this one, company assignments. Yeah,
right,
there we go.
Right. So this is, so if you click on select user, you'll see a whole bunch of users. Ooh. That's interesting. Oh, maybe it's because you're not admin. That's interesting. Okay, so typically you would see,
we can imagine,
you would see the number of users that are available, and you would assign a specific company to that user. So you could invite your client to be a user of AR Collect and then assign Sky Food to them. So when they sign in, they see Sky Food only, and that's obviously very critical. You don't want your clients to see all your companies. That would be insane. But this is where that would happen.
So when you create a new user, it doesn't automatically assign them to anyone. You just create the user and then you have to go assign it. Is that right?
Exactly.
Got
You
it.
do.
That's important.
That's very important.
Yes.
For an accounting firm, that's very important. Yeah.
Great. And so the types of users that we can add are admins or just regular users. So an
Correct.
admin.
So that's very important. You would make your client just a regular user, because then they cannot go into settings and enable themselves to see other companies, reassign companies to themselves. So that's a very, very critical thing for accounting firms to realize. Make them users only.
If we go back up to settings and we go to the next feature down, we can go over to customer categories. So this is nice for, last week we were looking about, creating some customer categories with colors and different reasons that you might have different groups. And so in this case, I think we've got on hold as a color, we've got locations are a color, and then we've got different users are colors. And so you can see it's very customizable how you want to use these different color codings. But when we're on the dashboard, that's whenever you can say, I want to filter down to these different color codings.
Yeah. So there we have it.
Nice. So we can see all of the on hold or everything that's assigned.
And now when you want to filter it, you just, if you see that arrow next to AR summary, just on the top, yeah. Okay, show all customers, click on that. And now you can filter according to whatever we've assigned.
Oh, Katie doesn't have any. We'll do on hold. I know there's a couple on hold. So
great.
Nice.
And now what you could do right now is email all these guys immediately and send them, if they're on hold, you want to send them a legal whatever. Yeah, send them a legal template and done.
And you can see all of our notes, the most recent notes are all there too. So we could open those up and look at those notes that we were seeing earlier.
Right.
Sure.
So let's go back over to settings and let's look down there. So yeah, those predefined reasons, those are fun.
Those are. And this
is
new.
Is a way of, yeah.
These are new.
If you click on new, you can add one. So click on new and it lets you add a new one. That's
okay,
really what it is.
And while you're doing that, this is where our promise to pays, those are going to be the things that we use most often. So if you're calling or if they're emailing and they're saying, hey, we promise to pay, then you would put in that date with those. Correct. And we have some nice reports that we'll look at that go along with those promise to pays.
Okay, the AR summary settings, do we want to move on to that?
Sure, yeah. So here again, if you're not really sure how to use this page, you can see there's another notes area. So if you wanted to go in and see what all is my functionality here, what all do I have the ability to do? Ivan, do you want to talk about this so that way we can kind of give a summary of what you're saying?
It's just another way of customizing everything on the AR summary page itself. So, the one where it says age by invoice date, caution, read the notes. We had users always clicking that and just to see what would happen. Then the aging suddenly went out because it's aging not according to the terms, but according to the actual invoice date. So we've got users who want that, but generally people don't want that and they don't know what they're doing. So we put it in red. That stopped the problem. No more support calls. Yeah, then as far as hide customers with a credit balance, it's pretty much what you see is what you get on this page. It's going to affect the AR summary page. It's all these things are typically based on our customers, our users saying, hey, we want an option. We don't want to see anyone with a credit balance at all.
Or inactive customers. I mean, I could see how that'd be really annoying to have a bunch of inactive customers.
Yeah, and that's for the sync. That sync active is actually just so that your refresh of data doesn't take so long, because what we were finding is people might have a very, very big database, but they weren't active. So that's just for an efficiency action.
We see that a lot.
We do.
Unfortunately. So let's go back over there to settings and let's see that last one. So we have, go ahead.
That's just for if you did create custom fields for your invoices in QuickBooks, they would appear here. And then you could say, okay, I want those to appear in my payment reminders as well. So custom fields would appear here if we had any. If we probably, I could show you those if you switch out of Sky
I think
Food,
Chloe's Cookies
Victor
has one.
Miller. Oh, okay, good.
See, here's Chloe's Cookies.
There they are.
Nice.
Exactly.
Very nice.
So now it's pretty cool when you send a reminder out. These could be part of your reminder if you want those.
A big one.
Yep. I agree. That's where I was just going to. And that purchase order, that number might be important. So let's go back. So Heather, you were going through the email setup. Is there anything else that we want to?
So the automated payment reminders we did, the automatic statements, I'd love to talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, and those are the ones that I said are time-based. So you can send it out. Frequency you can see is monthly at any interval during the month. So any day you would set, we've got it at end of month, but you could select, say, the 25th of the month if you wanted to, or weekly. And what it's really going to do is send out a list of all your open invoices. So when we say statement, it's good to bear in mind that we're not sending out a whole bunch of debits and credits that people can't understand. We're sending out really a list of, here's everything you owe us, and we show you how many days past due or prior to the due date it is.
This is fantastic. So this would automatically send the statements to the customers.
Exactly.
You'd no longer have to go into QuickBooks and
right.
And this is that thing where some users who are going to use AR Collect never log into it past the point of setup, which that is okay. There are some of those users who just need these features, and then to be able to say, okay, I did it and move on. But then, like Ivan was talking about, if somebody hasn't paid, then they're going to get that emailed reminder to say, okay, AR Collect's doing its job, but now we have somebody who's not fulfilling their obligation. Go pay attention.
Right.
And this response link looks like this. I'm going to pull it up because I have one here from right here. Is that right?
That's it.
That's the response link. So when you send out the email, the statements, these are just open invoices that were sent from the AR summary, what they're able to do, and let me make this bigger because I was taking screenshots and I wanted to fit it all into one screenshot, so I made it small. But what they'd be able to do is go ahead and just click on that link, and then if you had the payment set up, they'd be able to pay one or more invoices. We don't have a payment set up for this particular account, but they could either leave notes relevant to the entire account here. You know, we'll say, I'm expecting a windfall Friday. We'll pay up then, right? And then I could send that. And then when I go back into AR Collect, we would be able to see that. Or as you saw, there were those little boxes next to each invoice, so they could put a note in, you know, for each invoice. And I think that was from Sky Food.
Right.
If that
the Air Canada.
And that was an account note that I just did, right?
Was it for Air Canada? It should be there.
I think it was Air Canada.
So I go in there and I go to contact notes.
Did you send it?
Who was it?
Oh, there it is.
I see it. It was there?
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure. No, you said a windfall. It should be there.
It should.
No, it would be under contact notes.
It would, yeah.
That's weird. That's weird.
Huh.
Maybe it wasn't Sky Food. We've got two Air Canadas.
I bet it
wasn't Sky Food. Okay, I'll show you where to go. Click on Victor Miller.
Yeah.
It's going to be sitting in there. Okay.
Yeah, customer note added right there.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Awesome.
Hooray.
So that's how easy. And then if you had the payment set up, which you would do that up here and go ahead and put in the Intuit Payments, Freedom Merchants. And are you still doing authorized.net?
We do any, where it says generic URL, accept payments.
Got it.
So you could use any payment portal page that you've got. The thing is that only QuickBooks or Freedom Merchants will actually update QuickBooks on the back end. But if you use a generic URL, then you're not going to have an updated invoice on the back end showing as paid. You'd have to mark that. So you'd get a remittance advice. AR Collect would send you a remittance advice and tell you which invoices were paid, but it wouldn't do it automatically.
Nice.
And is AR Collect, does it support Canadian users for Canadian version
Yes.
of QuickBooks Online?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
So
Sure.
before we move on from this page, because we did have some questions in our chat about being able to connect our payment methods, and one specifically was talking about QuickBooks Online. So by checking that box, what happens?
Simply, when you send out, so if you go to that payment reminder, Liz, sorry, Heather, the payment reminder, sorry, no, from Air Canada on top that you had on your Google, in your Google Mail, in your Gmail,
yes.
sorry.
Okay.
In Gmail. If you click on an invoice number, any invoice number, you'll see it should take you to.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
So this option will allow you to pay the invoice individually. But if you've enabled the whole of QuickBooks payments, then from the portal, you could pay everybody in one click, all your invoices or selected invoices. So, but it's still using QuickBooks payments. Either option uses QuickBooks payments. So as long as the customer signed up, nothing changes on the back.
How do you know that you want to use QuickBooks payments? On that screen that Heather was just in where the check mark was, is that where we would say we want to use QuickBooks payments, and because you're connecting to QuickBooks, you would automatically have that information, or do we need to do further setup here?
It was on the connections page. If you go to that connections page, yes. When you add another company, right? There's the box. That's the one that actually does the sync. That's what you need.
Yeah. So if I were, with Chloe, say I forgot to check that box, would I need to connect and then reconnect?
Exactly. You wouldn't lose any data.
Okay.
It would just refresh the connection.
That's super simple. Like, we can handle a box.
Yeah, it has to be simple. That's what we've learned. It's got to be
Thank you for
super simple.
pointing that out.
Oh, I love this too. So I can select the time zone for that client.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
cool. So if I'm in one time zone and my clients are in another time zone, I can select the time zone for them.
That's true.
So
Exactly.
that's slick.
Okay, so we're running towards the end of the hour. Are there any areas, Heather, that you want to focus on?
I think that we talked about, do we want to go through the reports quickly? And also how to slice and dice and use, I know Elizabeth had a question about searching and filtering in that AR summary page.
Oh, so you could do that very easily.
There and then wrap up with reports?
Yes, that sounds fantastic. And did you ever go straight to the dashboard and show all of the different ways that it can be filtered? Oh, that's what you're doing. Never mind.
That's what I'm doing right now. So if I want to,
okay, yeah. So it's that drop down.
How do I clear this filter? Oh, that was in the.
But
sorry.
What we want to do is for sort and filter next to aging summary, that drop down arrow.
Got it.
Yeah. That gives you the options to either show all customers or show aging buckets. So those are the filters there. So it's that, or according to aging bucket, or you can also click on any title of the column headers to sort by value. So, or to resort it. So if you click on current owing, it will switch the value around.
Let me go back to one that has a bunch.
Okay.
I think they're gonna be able to see. Yeah, there we go. So we would come over here and we could filter by those colors.
Yeah, so that we showed the guys already.
Yep.
Then if you go to show all aging buckets, yeah, click on 1 to 30 day or whatever, and it will filter according to that. Also, now if you send an email, it will send them only the invoices that are in that aging bucket. So if you just want to email 91 to 20, that's how you do it.
And nice, because the thing that would be great here is now that you've narrowed down to your aging group, then you could send the appropriate reminder.
Exactly. Yeah. Adjust periods is going to let you change your aging bucket. But
and then if in here where it has user, if we had multiple users, we only have one user here,
yeah.
would I see a drop down of the different users?
Not in there. You would just be able to sort it according to the number of users. So.
Oh, okay. So what is that box for? Is that a search box?
Yeah, it would find them. Exactly. It's a search box. But to sort, so clicking on the column header will sort according to whichever.
Got it. Okay.
So if you wanted to see your highest to lowest, which is not.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Let me just close that. And then you can also change
the one page. Yeah, the one page that we didn't show anybody is the manage invoices page, which gives you a different view. That's a really cool thing. Here's your sort and filter options that one of the viewers asked for. And this is a more granular view. It shows all the invoices. Okay, so that's just what's in there. And what you can do here is email directly from here. And it will group the invoices together. If Air France had 10 invoices, they would go off into one email. It wouldn't send 10 emails to Air France.
So if I selected all and there were 10
yes.
Air France, it would notice select all of them.
Yeah, it would.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then I can display those custom fields.
Oh, yeah, if we don't have those in this. Yeah, so that's just
So let's talk about reports. And while you're navigating over to reports, there was a thought that I had. So if somebody pays a partial payment and they have multiple invoices, is it going to start with the oldest ones first automatically?
It does start with the oldest ones, but the partial payment, we show the original invoice balance or original invoice amount, and then the balance left outstanding. So you get to see both. Yeah, I think the best, if you go back to Sky Food, then you can show a better report where it's populated.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, then report, PTP report.
You want me to start at the bottom?
Yeah, that's the one.
This is a good one.
That will give you a bit of info.
So this is that promise to pay that we were saying. We're going to often get our clients or customers to say, I promise to pay at what date. Exactly. So here we would have the date. And then up there, where it says reason code, right now we're selected on all. But if we said promise to pay right there and filter it down to that grouping and refresh, then here we've got all of our Air Canadas that have told us that they promised to pay, and an Eastern in there.
And so what's quite cool is that if you actually work this thing, you can get a cash flow report based on promises to pay for a given period of time. That's where it's useful. It just depends how you manage your receivables. Nice. The bigger users normally need that.
Yeah, I like this. I agree with you. The bigger users do need that. I've got a couple of clients that have really large invoices, and so it matters to them when and they're promised to pay. They know with their customers that that's a genuine number and date to expect. Yeah. Where else should we go here to look at our reports? Because that one was my favorite.
Yeah, if you want to export, so if you go to contact note detailed report, then I'll show you. Yeah, contact note detailed. So here you could say, okay, I need to put this into Excel. You could save it as an Excel file.
And this is where we were talking about earlier, needing to export some information.
Correct.
And so we could filter it down to the customer name, because right now we've got it on all, but we could just say we wanted to see Air Canada or whatever.
That was super slick there, Ivan. I got to tell you, there was no downloading and me needing to click open. I really like that a lot.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Okay.
Very cool. Very cool.
So is there, so we're being asked about some graphics. That first report that we were on, if we go back to reports, Heather.
The dashboard?
Dashboard, Yep, so we have some graphics here, some graph charts, if that's what you're looking for. There's some visuals here, so that way you can say for forecasting or aging or number of contact notes. this is where you could put in some different information to be able to search and sort through.
Yeah, I saw one of the users asked, or one of the viewers asked, if you could partial pay an invoice. You can. Yeah, from the portal you can do that. Exactly. Yeah, that's very easy. Very easy.
So do we want to talk about any other things that we've missed so far, or did we cover everything and we want to talk about pricing?
I think there's quite a lot still, but I think once users get into it, they'll understand. So that event summary will show you a whole bunch of different things. But yeah, let's talk about the pricing.
Okay, I'm gonna
here's the thing.
Yeah,
it's like, here's the thing. There's so much that you can see is in AR Collect that we want to make sure that here's all of the slides of all the various things that we went through today. So you can go and duplicate everything that we've done. But because there's so much that you can set up, you really can customize it to the way that your client or your business is managing AR. And
exactly.
Being able to then come over here and look at pricing, this is valuable information that, are you doing it for a client? Is your client doing it themselves? And then also, I just want to point out that we do have QuickBooks Online and QuickBooks Desktop here.
Mm-hmm. And Sage, and soon to be Xero.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, I think as far as pricing goes, we often get the comment, why are you guys so cheap? Because we're way cheaper than everybody else. We shouldn't be. When we're going to be releasing our version 2, and we'll have a slight increase, but everyone who's signed up on version 1 gets grandfathered in.
So you're saying sign up now.
So now's the time.
It's going to be cheaper. There's this.
Launch the poll real quick.
Oh yes, thank you.
If you'd like Ivan or someone from his team to reach out to you to learn more, go ahead and answer the poll, and I will send that along to Ivan and his team.
And one of the things that you could do here is, as an accounting firm, because it's very affordable, then what you could do is you could go through and just start watching some of your clients aging. Start giving them a little bit of information and analytics as to what are you seeing as far as trends. And then you could start testing this as a service. You could start saying, is this something that my clients find really, really useful? And then build that out as an offering.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
That's a great way to go. Thanks, Liz.
All right, I'm going to count down the poll, everybody. So if you didn't get a chance to vote, please do. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. So yeah, I mean, the pricing is really reasonable. And if you think about it, this just makes easy work of what we've all been doing manually. Even when you're, sending reminders through QuickBooks, there's a lot of slicing and dicing and things that aren't real easy. And this allows you to set up the different reminder emails, and the payment thing is just fantastic, because who wants to go through and pay each invoice individually? People want to pay the whole amount. They don't want to have to do that. So that's pretty awesome.
We have a question here, Belinda, and I was getting ready to type it, and then I thought, well, you know what? There's probably more than just Belinda that's curious. And she was saying, is there a test drive? And my response to that was, everybody gets a free trial. So even if you wanted to connect it to your own firm and look at your own aging, that would be the way that I would start. I would start by using my own firm as an example, and then moving on to working with clients.
And you could also create a company in QuickBooks with a couple of customers and invoices, and use a dummy company, which is pretty safe. It's a safe
Well, we just saw how easy that was, because we just did it.
Right, exactly.
With Chloe's cookies. So
it's really quick.
It's
so quick. Great.
Wow, that was awesome. Thank you so much, Ivan.
And you, Heather, Liz, great job. You guys are the best.
Well, we're always glad whenever you come to visit us. You always have so much insight and things that you have built into AR Collect based on feedback from us. So thank you. And we appreciate you being with us today.
Yes.
Thanks so much. That was great.
So everybody, you'll be able to watch the videos,
Wow.
this deep dive video, if you want to watch it again, and you can find it on our website, thehappyhour.com. You can also find the drink recipe. We had a very cool drink last week. It's up there. We'll have the slides. I know you guys saw all the beautiful screenshots that Liz and I busily took, and so of the tour that you got today. So you'll be able to download that as well, because we'll have that. We usually have that up within 24 hours. Don't forget to visit Air Collect. Again, I mean, the best thing to do, 30 days free. You go try it. Awesome. And join the Happy Hour Facebook group and register for Zoom. If you're joining us via Facebook Live, you can be in the Zoom chat with all the questions and chat and all that other good stuff. So we have, in the month of July, we have 4 episodes. We have 3 deep dive episodes with our champagne level sponsor, ADP. So the first one is next week, where we're going to take a deep dive into ADP's Accountant Partner Program and all of the different ways that you can work with ADP in your firm. So you definitely don't want to miss that. There's a lot of, they have the best resources for accounting professionals. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Then on June 13th, this is going to be a great episode. We're going to learn how to create templates and migrate data with Rewind. So Rewind is a backup service that works with QuickBooks Online. And then we're going to dive into ADP Accountant Connect. And there's some new features that we're excited to highlight. And then on the 21st, we're going to talk about ADP's HR advisory tools. So lots and lots of good stuff coming down the pipeline. Further into August, we have Divi coming on. We have QVinci coming on.
Right. Yeah.
We've got a lot of great episodes coming up. So so we're only halfway through 2021, and we got a lot of good stuff through the rest of the year. So
a lot of great software updates that happened over the last year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, thank you so much, Ivan. This was fantastic. Thank you to
guys.
all for joining us
today.
Take care. And we'll have to have you come back on in a bit.
We look forward to that with our new version. We'll be back.
Yes, definitely.
Cool.
I can't imagine more updates. Wow, you've done such a great job. So thank you.
Yeah, they're going to be millions.
Fantastic. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Take care.
Take care.